T.O., let's start turning this forward. Let's start looking at the Final Four. Let's start talking about some of these matchups. I want to start with the UConn-Miami matchup. Where do you stand on how – or you know what? Let me open it up like this. Let's start this. UConn or the field, T.O.? UConn or Miami, San Diego State, and Florida Atlantic? Who are you taking to win the national title?
UConn. Here's the thing. FAU and San Diego State play very similarly. San Diego State's just bigger. They both thrive on the boards. FAU can score a little bit better, but San Diego State just forces people to do exactly what they want. So I think San Diego State's going to win that one, but we'll talk about them in a second. UConn and Miami in my mind, that's the national championship game. I think those are the two most talented teams. Miami can score it. Norton Chet-O'Meara, though, he has his hands full against this UConn team, guys, that I don't know how you stop them right now, especially the way Jordan Hawkins is shooting the ball, especially the way Andre Jackson's figured out how teams are playing him. UConn's just so big, so strong. They can play different styles and beat you. And I'll be honest, guys, like there's nobody there for them. They have scoring at where they need it, and they have it at different spots when they need it. UConn looks as good as anybody in college basketball's had in the Final Four in some time.
Mm-hmm. Fanta?
UConn. It's Connecticut that has been the most impressive team in this tournament. It's Connecticut, which has reminded us that they were 14-0 to start the season, that they won the PK 85. They ran ship through Alabama. They beat Iowa State. The UConn Huskies are the best team in the land. And to win their 4 tournament games by a combined 90 points, to outscore their competition 174 to 107 in the second half of their tournament games. They have the best big man in America right now in Adama Sanogo. His motor is unlimited. The fact that he can hand it off to Donovan Clingan is like an elite baseball team that can hand it off to a Mariano Rivera or a flame-throwing reliever who could come in and totally empty the tank in an inning or two. Jordan Hawkins is playing like a top 20 NBA draft pick because he is one. This team is an embarrassment of riches from a depth perspective right now, and I really don't know how you stop them. You have to pick your poison and hope they have an off-shooting night in a football stadium. Miami can score with them. Miami can score with them. Miami can score with anybody. But defensively, Miami's not the team that Connecticut is. And Miami will have trouble in the front court because Norchad Omeir can only do so much. UConn should win the national championship, and in my opinion, will win their 5th national championship since 1999. Nobody else has more than 3.
Yeah. So normally I'm not a great fan. And what I mean by that is I'm the guy that's always pessimistic. Like we don't have to share the text messages that I've sent you guys throughout the season, but like I get very stressed about the teams that I care about in those moments. And when things aren't going well, it's like, oh, they fucking suck. They're terrible. Get them out of here. We got to cut this guy. We got to fire this guy. We got to throw this guy in the ocean. And it's not just UConn. It's every team that I root for. So normally in a situation like this, I mean, you guys, I thought that I managed to convince myself that UConn was going to lose to Iona. That's just what I did. And I managed to convince myself that if they played VCU, there's no way they're getting out of the second round of the NCAA tournament, right? I managed to convince myself that Arkansas was going to find the exact matchup that you needed that was going to be able to beat UConn. I'm sitting here in this Final Four, and I just feel oddly confident about the way that this is going to play out, right? Like, I just don't know. When you look at what Miami does, I don't know how they beat UConn. How can they do something like where's the matchup that they exploit beyond simply saying, I'm just going to bet on Isaiah Wong and Nigel Pack both going for 35 and having it just be too much for UConn to stop, which, like, for the record, is certainly a possibility. Those dudes are studs. They're absolute bucket getters. I don't know how Miami beats them, right? When you have one big guy that's 6'6" and you got to go up against the two-headed monster that UConn has, when you are a team that struggles on the defensive glass against the best offensive rebounding team in college basketball, when you go up against a team that could guard you and defend you in two very different ways, whether it's the hard hedges when Sanogo's out there, whether it's the drop coverage when Donovan Klingen's out there, when they can run an offense that relies on having a rim running, lob catching, Walker Kessler-esque 5-man in Donovan Klingen, or somebody that you just throw the ball to in the post like Adama Sanogo. They have guys that can beat you any different way on the I don't know what you do to beat this team. And I don't know if someone that is as reliant on doing one thing like Miami is can beat UConn. And in the national title game, like I think
neither team on the other side scares me.
Yeah, I think San Diego State has a better chance because they're
that.
bigger, and I think they're better built to be able to handle the toughness and physicality that's going to come with UConn. But like the skill level is it's entirely different, right? It's entirely different, and I don't know how they lose, and it feels I don't like saying that because that's the kind of thing where like I'm convinced that I'm going to. I didn't bet on UConn a single time yet in this tournament because every time that I've bet on them, they've lost. This year, I haven't bet on them once, even though even though Sanford Steve is out here guaranteeing that they're going to end up winning every game. So I don't know how they lose. I think you have to take UConn. I don't know how you take anyone else in the field who beats them. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Field got awfully small, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Today's episode is presented by Underdog Fantasy, the easiest place to play college basketball's pick'em, where you get real cash prizes simply by picking player stats in this weekend's games. In pick'em, all you do is pick whether a player will go higher or lower in Underdog's projected totals. That's points, rebounds, whatever. If you're like me and you think Marquise Noel is going to go absolutely nuts this weekend, pick higher on his points projection, throw in a couple of other picks, and if you hit them all, you can win 20 times your money on a single game. Underdog's slick mobile app is easy enough that dummies like Jeff Goodman have even figured it out. So go to UnderdogFantasy.com or download the app and use the code FIELD, FIELD, to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Get in on the madness now.